Okay. Last day.
Do,
Do, do, do, do, do.
Good morning.
You always go the do, do, do. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
so ominous and stuff. But happy. Yay! Let's see. Let's settle this. There we go.
Pearl. Oh, we are wearing Christmassy colors today.
Yay! I was about to say, welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow, but look, Christmas! Yay! Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Dear Becky and Lizzy edition.
Oh, that's right.
we
It's
have one.
Thursday.
We do.
It's the last day before break, so my mind is mush.
Not
And
a
see
thing.
all this in front of you, which we don't even have like the fun ends of color for you to see. This is all the stuff I have to take photos of still from date. Isn't that lovely? If you like bright colors, isn't that lovely? This is all the stuff I have to take pictures of Daydream Dye Work still. This is the DK is what's out. And again, you mostly see labels, but I see a whole lot of yarn. That's a picture. And the dragon base is what I need to take pictures of. Which reminds me, Pamela was excited that we had July
Yes.
back in stock.
Yes.
I told her I didn't know if we got it back in sparkly, but I'd look and I haven't looked yet. Hi, I'm Rebecca, aka Becky today, owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in downtown Brevard, which is sunny and chilly. It's pretty chilly out today for Brevard.
It's going to be a little warmer than yesterday.
It's not right now.
No. I'm Liz. I'm the minion there. Or Lizzy for today. Sorry.
The icy on the ice at intervals, like it says on the road, could actually happen today. So
there was ice in my puddle.
That's how the
patio.
South deals with cold weather. They put up a sign that says ice at intervals on the roads and says, hope you can deal with it. Sorry, microphone. What were you saying? There was ice somewhere for you today?
In the patio. There's ice in the puddle on the patio.
Yes, don't slip on that. That's not good. Luckily, it's probably not on a direct route to our shop.
No, it's right there by my chair and our table.
It's by your 3 to 5 thing.
Yeah. It'll thaw.
It's when it's on the stairs or the ramp coming up to the plaza that we have to worry about it and call somebody and de-ice it. We might still have some de-icy stuff in the back.
We do.
But yeah. We won't be here though for the next week and a half after today. So today is the last day. By the time this video is published, you'll have like a half day if you're local to get your butts here or to call.
Hopefully.
If you need anything. Hopefully
you'll have a half day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be a really busy day and the video
might not get up until we're done. Yeah. And then I'm sorry. You just found out that we've been saying this for a while now though. So hopefully, yeah. Feeling a little headachy today, which is not going to make today fun. But you know, that's life. Do you remember, Liz, if we have July?
I don't know if we have it on Sparkles. I think we just got. I remember seeing 9 to 5.
She dyed it on everything on 2 bases.
Yeah.
We got it on 9 to 5. I could try to look. But I don't want to waste everybody's time at the moment. I'll peek as I go because all the DK is right here. If I find it in DK, then Pamela know that we have it in 9 to 5 and DK and Wish. So
I think it was 9 to 5. I don't.
It is 9 to 5 because that's what she saw the picture of yesterday.
Okay.
So, but it's what other base?
Yeah.
Or was it tweed? I already put that one up though.
Yeah.
We need a break. Can you
So
tell? So, let's see. We're gonna ramble through what we can today. We have one question. Lizzy today. Tried really hard to finish the sweater she's knitting on and she's almost done.
I just did the decreases.
But the whole self-care thing, like stressing yourself out to finish a project versus the joy that finished project will give you, you made the healthy choice and went to bed. Well, also the no other option choice because
I felt like going to bed at 9.
And you didn't?
And I didn't. And then at like 9:45 we were texting and you were going to bed and I was like,
kind of,
I'm right behind you.
I didn't go to bed then.
And like 45 minutes later,
I didn't text her later
I
because
still
I thought,
wasn't done. And yeah.
That's June. Okay. I just was like, uh-oh. No, that's June.
No, July. I know
Um,
what July looks like.
July's brighter greens, right?
It's bright greens and blues. It's Mackay's.
It's very pretty.
Happy on background. Should we do the question first and then we can ramble?
Look at her being logical. We should, yes. I could ramble about how packing is going and how the cat hates me already. But what's
No
our
surprise.
question?
Our
Nothing here.
question. Dear Becky and Liz, the
Uh-huh.
last 2 sweaters that I knit were oversized upon completion. I swatched for both and got gauge. I think my problem is determining the ease which the pattern suggests. Should I be adding it to the beginning bust measurement to determine size or to the final measurements? Once I knitted one too small, so maybe I'm overcompensating. You guys have contributed greatly to my life over the past year, even though we have never met in person. Looking forward to 2022, especially the Echo Point knit along. Best knitting in New England.
Yay, Echo Point no. Woo! As multitasking. We have July on BFL Tweed and 9 to 5, not Sparkle.
Summer.
This time around. So it depends. If shout out to Pamela, if Pamela really wants it not sparkly, because she got it sparkly last time, she's good. She's got other fingering options. BFL Tweed and 9 to 5. It's definitely brighter on 9 to 5. Okay, so gauge, sweater gauge, having issues. One thing I picked up on in that, and that I kind of missed because I was doing this, but I listened yesterday. But you might have to clarify again for me. Is the thing about finished measurements, and something didn't work out, so it sounds like this person added inches to finished measure to a finished measurement. That's something that we've talked about it before, but it's something to clarify and be careful
she
with.
swatched and got gauge,
Mhm.
and she is wondering, or she says she thinks her problem is determining the ease which the pattern suggests. Should she be adding it to the beginning bust measurement to determine size or to the final measurements? A good pattern is going to say here's your bust size without adding anything in. And we recommend this size for your bust size, which is this many positive inch.
I'm being quiet because I'm letting you finish.
I'm done. Because you look like you have other thoughts.
No, what I'm saying, when you say a good pattern,
a good pattern writer.
Well, different patterns will do different things. Yeah. A one that covers all the bases. You can still have a good pattern that doesn't cover all the bases, but a good pattern should list either beginning bust, like what is your bust, or the finished bust measurements of the piece with telling you what the ease should be, or the like unicorn pattern, which actually does exist. We talk about unicorn yarn because it doesn't exist. The shining star of all patterns will be what Liz says, and list both, but you really have to watch the language. And if someone's not clear on their language, that's when it doesn't become, we don't classify it as a good pattern anymore. If it says bust measurement XYZ, make this size, it's saying, usually it already has the ease, and we'll circle back to that in a second. Usually it already has the ease factored in, and it's saying if your bust literally measures this size, this many inches or centimeters, make this size. So like my girls, and I tell people, I was telling someone yesterday, measure the largest part of yourself. Like this part here for me is going to be a bigger measurement than like right under the armpits, because right under the armpits is not my biggest part. Right under here is not my biggest. Right here, right across the biggest part. And honestly, I would measure with your bra on if you're a lady, because that's going to be part of what has to go under the sweater, right? Sometimes even for to figure out your bra size, they tell you to measure with a bra on. So, but and that measuring yourself for that can also be wonky. So like me, if you live alone, that can be challenging. Get a friend to help you, or you got to kind of figure stuff out, because if you're doing this, you're getting a different measurement than if your arms are down at your sides. So sometimes I have to take that into account. But so again, going back to the language of the pattern, if it says for this bust measurement, make this size, the bust measurement there, that's what you measure. But the finish bust size for the sweater, that's with ease incorporated. And again, I keep promising to talk about ease, and I will in a second. But if this, the question writer is saying they took the finished size and they added inches to it because they were worried about it being too small, that could be one of the reasons it came out too big. There's a lot of different reasons it could have come out too big. But if the finished bust measurement, which is the finished size of your piece, is what she or he took to and then they added in what we call positive ease. They added stuff because they were because a sweater they did before came out too small. That could be a reason it's too big. Because the other thing to keep in mind is if one sweater comes out too small, that could be on you, that could be on the pattern writer, that could be on a lot of different things. So like that could be the yarn,
blocking your yarn,
how you blocked your swatch if you did versus how you block your piece. But that could be a lot of different things rather than you. And then another, like what happens with one pattern is not indicative of what's going to happen with all patterns. Because again, it could be the pattern writer's problem that it came out too big rather than you. So you shouldn't just assume that all patterns, it's going to happen with every pattern, especially if it's not the same pattern writer.
This pattern was supposed to have like 2 to 4 inches of positive ease.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably would if I made the pattern for my size, but
you
because
changed
I knew that it was 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, I went to the largest size.
How much positive? Go. Sorry, you finish.
And put it on a bigger needle because I want the most positive ease.
How much positive ease do you think you have in that? And then again, we're going to explain what ease is.
I'd say a good.
You have at least 10 inches or so in there.
10 to 14. Yeah.
So, okay. We've talked about it before and I drew pictures and stuff, and I'm not going to do that today because my brain is kind of doing this weird thing. So again, if I don't make sense, call me out in the comments, and that's probably why. Ease has to do positive and negative, has to do with extra room, positive, think bigger, positive is bigger, negative is smaller. So we had a knitter come in wearing a lovely sweater yesterday, and we said, oh, that's so pretty. And she's like, yeah, I'm still getting used to the negative ease on this, which means it's clingy. Negative ease means it's supposed to come out smaller than your size, like your bust size. And usually that only is about an inch or so. Like something with negative ease isn't going to be super tight unless they're like really trying to show off model curves or something. But the sweater she was wearing, it wasn't like this. It was form fitting.
Biking and running Lycra is negative
ease. Like it's meant to be smaller. Like you might see people on knitting chat sites talking about how hats are supposed to have negative ease so they don't fall off. Like, so if you see a hat that says like finish size is 19 or 18 inches and you're like, but my head's 20 inches, that's actually okay. Because it usually there's some give in hats and you want it to be a little, not like cutting off your circulation up your head, but a little tight so it doesn't fall off your head. So if you make the perfect size for your head, you might find it's a little loose at times. So positive ease.
Safety pins are for.
Safety pins.
Bobby pins.
We just call them safe. Yeah. Liz doesn't actually safety pin to her scalp. We just joke that she does. Okay. So, now I'm on bobby pins. So positive ease is what most sweaters are written for. Sometimes it's only written for like a little bit, but comfort zone, you know, like this has a nice drape to it, but it's got a little bit, like if my bust size is like 43 inches, this might measure, if we were going to measure it, like 45 or 44. But if I took a sweater size that was already 45, thinking that's the size I want to make, and I add 2 inches to it, or like, here's how this could go awry. If it says in it, if it doesn't have both measurements listed or something like that, if it says, if you have a 43-inch bust, make the large size. And you say, well, the last one I made came out small, so I'm going to make the extra large size. But the large size already has 2 inches of positive ease in it. you're going to come out with something that maybe has 5 inches or more of positive ease, and you might be unhappy with it. And I keep talking about how I have to kind of split the difference because the girls are pretty big, but in theory, the rest of me is not. The rest of me is catching up or like it waffles, right? So sometimes I have to pick one that doesn't have any positive ease in it for this measurement here, because otherwise the rest of me is going to be swimming in it. But I've been a little more balanced with my proportions lately. Like my tummy still smaller than the girls, but you know, so but you should find something that you're comfortable with and is flattering for you as a person. Like Liz loves the big and open and drapey and awesome because that's what is your comfort zone.
It's my comfort zone. And when you're talking about measuring the biggest part, this is not my biggest part. This is my biggest part.
And that's part of why you do crops, because it doesn't really, but you also have to
balloon out underneath.
And you have to account for that if it's going to hit that part of you. Like we've had knitters who are more pear-shaped. And so we have to think about their hips if they're going to make something that's not cropped like what Liz wears. So otherwise it can stretch and look funny when it's over their hips. So so that's one way that this could have gotten off for this writer, is adding inches to the finished bust measurement instead of the actual bust measurement, or like your starting bust size. You really have to pay attention to the language the pattern writer uses. And sometimes the pattern writer doesn't use it correctly or isn't specific, and you have to guess. And often the other place it's good to look is if they have a finished diagram of picture of the sweater laid out with lines across and labels. And either if they do a little circle around the bottom to talk about whole torso measurement, or if they just say it's this wide across, like double that, right? And know there might be a little excess for where the fabric folds around, but that can help you figure out what size you want to make. So if they don't have a finished measurement on the front page, but on the back they have a picture of the sweater, you can look at those measurements and say, okay, this one, again, I'm 44. This one is the medium size is going to be a 40. That's not going to fit me, or that's going to have negative ease. Am I okay with that? You know, like the Ready Set Raglan books that we have that are wonderful resources, like everything in them is
14 to 20 inches of positive ease.
It's not that bad. It's actually 10 inches, but anyway. But 10 inches is a lot. 10 inches is Liz's comfort zone. If not more than that is Liz's comfort zone. It's not everyone else's. It might be too, like it's designed to be wide and comfy, but that doesn't mean you have to make it wide and comfy. You can pick a size. Hang on.
I'm hanging.
almost there. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm almost there. You can pick a size that only has 5 inches of positive ease and it will still look okay. I'm done.
Shout out to Luann, who is a very tiny frame. And she like lots of the popular sweaters she can't make because they look like
even the
double
smallest size
XL sweaters on her, even if they're not sized, like, you know, the smallest sweater isn't still small enough for her because of the included positive ease.
So sometimes she has to use magic math, or sometimes she has to use smaller needle, smaller yarn. Sometimes she has to come up with her own gauge.
Yeah.
That's not the right gauge. But then you do the magic math, which for me is if you figure out, like, if you can't get gauge, then you can take how many stitches per inch roughly, and you can do magic math on the torso size to figure out, if you follow the instructions but your gauge is different, what size will it come out. It's not a guaranteed science, but that's the number I use, is when it says like separate the sleeves, if it's top down, how many stitches are going around your torso? If you divide that by the number of stitches per inch, what is the measurement of your torso going to be? And will you be happy with that? Because sometimes when you're like, my gauge is close, it'll be fine. You'll be swimming in it when you're done. That half stitch per inch, that first sweater I made for my then boyfriend became husband, now ex-husband, not even the thing that the guy related to what happened this year. Anyway, side note. That was only a half stitch off in gauge, and the thing was huge on him. Absolutely massively huge. Like 1/2 stitch over 50 inches or so will add up. So sometimes it means doing the math. Other possibilities from this question, which we don't have enough information necessarily to help diagnose, is when you got gauge on your swatch, was it a swatch that you blocked or didn't? And full disclosure, I don't block my swatches, because a lot of people, when they block their swatches, they will soak them and wring them out and stuff, and then pull them tight. And unless you're going to pull your sweater tight, your sweater's going to come out differently. Usually that's the opposite of the question, though. Usually,
yeah,
it means that your gauge is amazing because you've stretched it out, and then your sweater is smaller, and you're like, why did that happen? It's because you didn't stretch your sweater the same way. But this is talking about the sweater being too big when the gauge was right. And the other thought I had when you read it to me yesterday is the curse of the Superwash Merino. Like, this sweater is the Fiber Space DK, which is our absolutely loveliest, fantasticest yarn. And I'll clean that up later. And like, this is the fingering weight. Remember, this was already kind of big and loose, and then it got really big and loose when I soaked it, because some Superwash Merino, when you get it wet, wants to grow.
This is my Barocco Ultra Alpaca, and it grew. Like, I tell everybody, before, if you like the fit of your sweater before you block it, measure everything before you block it. Because even the Ultra Alpaca, like, just the weight of it,
when it's damp,
I ran it through my
heavier.
washer and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I laid it out, and I'm like, I like the fit of it before I blocked it, and this grew. So, kind of mush it all back in.
And that's the blocking video I made over on my Tips and Tricks channel. Was the sweat, I'm looking, it's up there, was my Fair Isle, my stranded colorwork sweater, my Jupiter crop, which didn't grow as much as this guy. But that was part of what I said in that video, is measure before you get it wet. Because a lot of people, the trend of top-down sweaters right now is you can try them on as you go. You're trying it on unblocked. So if that's what you're doing, you're trying it on unblocked and it's fitting right. You're like, oh, this is the right length. I like the sleeve length. I like the torso length. You got to be a little careful with that then, because damp fabric, damp yarn will want to grow under its own weight. And sometimes that can be fixed by making sure you mush it. If you look back on my Instagram feed, you can see when I first laid this out, it was all kinds of wrinkly because it grew. And I still didn't get it totally back to the measurements, my first measurements, but I kind of gently squished it and tried to even out the wrinkles so they had a chance to evenly distribute and dry and kind of bounce back to the right measurements. And it didn't totally, but it definitely didn't stay as big as it did when I first laid it out. But if you don't measure and you're like, oh, it's fine, it's gonna fit, and you get it damp, like you soak it and you get the water out for whatever means you get the water out, and then you take your damp, heavy, even when it's only slightly damp, it's still heavy sweater, and you just spread it out. There's a danger if you're not using measurements from the chart and your pattern, the diagram in your pattern, or your own measurements, like Liz is saying. I really like a happy medium between the two. If it's really off from like what I measured, if you don't pay attention to that, it's gonna just take on the new measurements of whatever you laid out. And sometimes that can be fixed by reblocking, but sometimes not. Like, the whole idea of blocking is the first time you wash something, you have a chance to shape it and help the stitches settle into their permanent location. I had someone ask a question on one of our others, or on my tips and tricks, about, do you have to block every time you wash something? In theory, no. I can't make it an absolute, of course not. In theory, you shouldn't have to. I still would lay things out. If you have to wash something again, I would still lay it out and be gentle with it and kind of check the measurements and stuff. But in theory, like, I'm trying to remember which book I read this in, because I dabbled with the Knitting Masters, and I got through 2 swatches and the blocking report. Like, you have to write reports and do research, and it's not the same as like going to a master's program in a university, but you have to research and write up and like absorb and process and write up what you've learned. And it might have been the Vogue Book of Knitting, or there's another really good resource. There's a couple good resources. I've showed them off really long time ago on this show. I think their books are over there, but between a couple really good reference books, which are not books we sell in the shop, by the way, but they're good ones to have. We don't have the space to carry these massive hardcover books. They talk about how blocking, like, your stitches settle. Like, there is some magic to the first time you wash a garment, or even just get it wet, and you can give it a chance to have a better shape. It's not necessary for everything, but those are some thoughts as to why it might have come out bigger. And we might have missed what really is going on with this person's sweaters. But my thought, if they like knitting with the yummy Superwash, which is really popular right now, it sometimes has to be told to behave, and sometimes it doesn't listen when you're blocking. So, and Liz was saying with her sweater, even with the Ultra Alpaca, which is not Superwash. Superwash has this extra springy, like, wee, that it kind of wants to be like,
It gets wet, and it's like those little
it goes from being
the
like this to
little
being like
inflatable things you used to put in water, where it's all compressed down in like a pill, and
Yeah,
then you put it in
the
water and it
sponges.
becomes a dinosaur or whatever.
It goes and you kind of have to not squish it back in the capsule because that's gone, but but you have to kind of give it a chance to dry back in its bouncy form. It will never be quite as springy and bouncy, but it'll be soft and lovely. But if you don't give it a chance to have room to go back and spring up, it will stay out like this. It really will. So I hope that helps. There have been times when people have swatched and done everything exactly how I would do, and the sweater just doesn't come out the right size. And sometimes that can be, your tension can change over the life of a sweater. It's happened to me with some of the sweaters I've made, and sometimes it will sometimes it will regulate itself, and sometimes it won't. If you're more stressed out or less stressed out or going through stuff, it can, as much as knitting is a relaxing thing, your tension can shift depending on your mood. I don't say that to we're just losing things left and right all over this table today. It's a messy table. I don't say that to scare people off knitting, because, oh my gosh, if my tension doesn't stay the same, my gauge doesn't stay the same, then why bother? I just say, it can happen. It's, if you are crafting like this for perfection, that can be a struggle, and that can be a disappointment. If you're crafting because it brings you happiness and joy and de-stressing, some of that de-stressing is letting your I don't care bar drop way down. But that can be hard when you want a sweater to fit. It's true. So anyway.
Speaking of sweaters.
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
Are you binding off?
I'm binding off.
Sweet. Now, it's not sewn together yet, but you could always drape it over yourself and kind of be like, look, the floppiness, it fits, kind of. So she was hoping to wear it today. You can wear it after our break.
I can.
You can wear it drapey right now when you're done with that, but that's cool. Anyway, so I think we covered most of the stuff for that, right? Okay. And we had people say they loved our Echo Point kits, and they are still available, most of them, almost pretty much all of them. I'm going to keep relisting them over break if we have the inventory for them. I've been trying really hard to stay on top of inventory. I won't be here, but if I know we have the inventory left, I will relist anything that sells so you can still have a shot at it. And we'll pack them up when we come back. But speaking of packing, oh my gosh, I am narrowing in. Well, always, but I'm narrowing in on what to bring. I will say I only brought into the shop today I only brought things that didn't make my short list for what's coming with me. And some things I left at home. This morning I did, are you gonna put that on?
I could.
Or at least hold it or something. This morning I did my Quadrangle Spires by Stephen West for morning meditation because that one's not coming with me because that one has so many skeins of yarn involved. It's just going to take up way too much space, right? That's cute. Look at that. Ah, speaking of a cropped sweater.
And this pattern is cropped on purpose. Like
It's written to
didn't
be cropped.
alter it.
So
Well,
sleeves,
I
yay.
decided to do the sleeves flat because ain't nobody got time for purling.
Which means
But
she
I'm
has
okay
to
with
sew up the
sewing.
seams. Yeah. There already was going to be sewing of the sides.
And by the sides, they mean that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because then the
Because the
sleeves take right
sleeves
up. Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. I forgot about that.
So like there already is a little bit of sewing. I'm okay with that. There are people that are not okay with that.
That's when you give it to someone else to sew.
Yeah.
But not us, because we don't have time.
No. But so that's why I was like, well, if I've already got a seam a little bit, I might as well just whip stitch the
and you did that
sleeves.
with your stripey sleeves.
And I did
too.
that with the stripies.
Yeah.
And
that's really pretty. Can you show them the back? I know they've already seen the back, but the back has that pretty
is
cables.
the cables. And the reason it's done flat is because it's got the cable panel and it's hard to do that.
You can do that in
You
the
can
round.
do that in the round.
Yeah, but the
there's
sleeves,
a lot of purling though with all the because it's garter. Everywhere other than the cable is garter.
Yeah. So there was a lot of purling for you. No, doing it flat meant there's a lot of knitting. I was gonna say, if you did it in the round, there'd be a lot of purling on the background of your cable. Like anywhere there's no cable, there's purling.
Yeah.
If it's done in the round. When it's done flat, there's kind of equal amounts because front and back, you're knitting your knits and purling your pearls. So that is lovely. That's part of my decision is like, do I want to bring cables with me on vacation? Do I want to bring I have 2 sweaters that I'm still picking out yarn for. The Quadrangle Spires because it's like 5 or 6 skeins of yarn is staying home. This one, my cameo is staying here. Like I brought in a couple of patterns just in case there's time to knit at the shop today. There hasn't been all week, so I'm not expecting to, but just in case. My cameo by Melanie Rice is staying here because it's so big at this point. Like this will take up too much room in my suitcase. So this could make an appearance on morning meditation tomorrow because like I'm doing one last one before I head to the airport.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. And it's in fiber space, just like what I'm wearing, but just a different color. My Euclid shawl is staying here. I've decided because I just don't feel like working on it right now. My Glimmer poncho is staying here because again, it's this one is because it's big enough. I could finish this on break, but I kind of want to bring more complicated stuff with me on break. I'm trying to bring a couple simple ones, but more complicated because I just don't make progress on my complicated stuff between being tired and knit night. I can't really do complicated things on a knit night. And here at the shop, I can't pick up a complicated piece because when someone comes in, I got to put it down. So these came in with me today, and other things that are on my short list to go with me. Stonecatcher is on my short list. Even though that's a lot of yarn, it's only 3 skeins of yarn. Other things that are on my short list, my Scottish Highlands, they have to wait. There's still lots of time. Scottish Highlands.
Go get a sewing needle.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I can vamp, right?
You could vamp. Oh, you have no problem vamping. I do. You have no problem.
Okay, so Scottish Highlands is on my short list. Let's see, what else was I pulling out? My brain is hurting today. Rosa Canina, because it's thicker yarn with cables, is on my short list. The Shimmering Pearl is on my short list because it's only 1 skein. I can probably knock that sucker out. The Rebel Squirrel cowl is going with me on the plane. I might, maybe the shimmering pearl will come with me on the plane too, because shimmering pearl I think is on wood needles, and the cowl is on just short circulars. So I don't think TSA is going to have issues with those. There's just so many shawls I want to bring with me. But the question is, I also want to bring 1 to 2 sweaters with me. I did start packing yesterday, and I
Bring them all isn't going to happen.
What?
The bring them all isn't going to happen.
It depends on how much room is in my suitcase and my carry-on. I was amazed at how much room there is after packing all my small toiletries and things like that. Cause like I don't use a blow dryer on my hair anymore. So that saves a ton of space. But I think clothes, even though I'm not bringing a lot, it's going to take up space kind of faster than I realized. But I'm pretty good at doing the roll up packing, and any yarn I bring home, especially if it's not wound yet. I'm gonna actually put my Swift in my suitcase because I'm stealing the Swift from the shop, because it breaks down into be super flat. Like I can show you guys. It shouldn't take up much space. And the twists I want to bring, I'm gonna vacuum all the air out of. So it's just, there's too many things I want to take with me. And of course, I'm not going to get to them all. Of course I'm not. So this is our Swift in the shop. It's a little fancier and a little bigger than the Chagu ones that we sell. But, and I'm probably going to bring the short poles. These are from the Chagu. We take these off, and I'll find the short ones to take with me. And then this comes off. I can even keep it like that. And this guy comes apart. The Chagu one is basically as small too. Like this in the suitcase takes up little to no space. I'm pretty sure my suitcase is long enough to fit these. If not, I'll be coming back into town to get a Chagu one to take home. So, but I think I've done this before. I think I've actually taken this with me before. So, so this is coming with me. I would love to take, I'm sorry if this is banging against the microphone. I would love to take some of the yarn for this sweater. I still need to pick out my color combo for this one. I know in the past we've talked about several color combos, and I don't remember what they are. I don't necessarily want to bore us by like holding up different color combos of this right now. These are the colors I'm making the pom-pom out of. Oops. Yeah, in my suitcase, it'll be much better. It's a cream and a navy, like natural and navy, I think, and the ultra alpaca, I think it's going to be gorgeous. But I don't, it needs like 5 skeins of each. That's too much to bring with me. I might leave that project here, or only take 2 skeins of yarn, and when I hit that point, I move on to something else. So, because it's stranded color work through the whole entire sweater, whereas this one is only for the top parts, which is a little easier. But I was telling people, like, that's why I thought the Lily Kate Makes Axis is going to be perfect for this, because you might only need 1 skein if you're smaller than me. I think you'll only need 1 skein for each of the 3 colors that are in the top, but you'll need more for the main color. I think my size, I'm going to be playing yarn chicken if I only take 1 skein out. I think I might need 2, which adds up on the price. So having bigger girls or just being a bigger person is a challenge with patterns, I will tell you. And you probably already know, if you are not a teeny tiny skinny mini, you probably already know this. So I'm still struggling with what to bring, because I could just bring like 1 sweater. Mm-hmm. And probably finish it while I'm out there. Wouldn't that be amazing? But oh my gosh, I think I'd lose my mind. Just a little bit. I need it's like having a security blanket. I need a few things. I really should take it down to like 1 cowl and 1 shawl and 1 sweater.
We'll see.
So hard. So hard. The struggle is real, people. So I have no more mousecapades. I haven't seen a mouse since earlier this week. But my cat is already really pissed at me because even though I haven't been away in a long time, I think he knows what the suitcase means. He's already yelling at me. Last night, he was staring at the corner like Blair Witch. I sent a picture to Liz. I think there's mice hanging around in the corners, and he's just staring at the walls, trying to chase them, but he can't find them. He's been burrowing under boxes in the corner of the dining room, but he can't catch them. So we'll see what my pet sitters report about what he does while I'm gone and what the mice do when I'm gone. But yeah, I don't know. It's been all kinds of crazy.
It should be fun.
Hopefully the mice won't decide to like eat all my knitting that is sitting upstairs. Hopefully Avi will keep them enough on their toes that he won't go on strike because I'm gone. So I'm trying to remember, what was we had a neutral color palette picked out for this.
It has been so long. I thought you took a picture of it.
Yeah, like I can find that on my phone. If we can vamp, I can look for it on my phone. But I can't multitask very well.
It had the rose and the green and the grays.
The green?
Yeah.
I didn't want the green with the rose.
I know.
I like this color combo.
Or the blue with the rose and the grays.
Although the roses are already in, the rose is already in my mittens, but that doesn't exclude them from the sweater. I know that Shelby Rose, you're like, the roses and the neutrals that we had picked out, like something in this range. You can hold. Whoa. Shelby Rose was saying that might be too much like your striped sweater. That's darker, but you're right. So yeah, I was torn between I think I can do another sweater in neutrals. I would love to do colors with this. I would also love to not waste the yarn that's already in all the hat kits, and not that it's ever a waste, but or do the same thing that's already in the hat kits, but B, I don't want to necessarily do exactly the same colors as on the cover, although the cover has purple. We don't have purple. But someone's going to leave a message. We're going to call them back at 10. Let's see if I saved it in my favorites. Oh, we've got the Axis kits, the hat kits in the favorites. That might tell me where to. That was back in September. I'm going to have to look back through September, and that's just. So
it's been a
what
while.
else do we want to let people? Oh, reminder about our sale. So we're open today until 5 o'clock, and then starting tomorrow the sale kicks in, where we're closed December 24th through, and this is reminding me I need to make a new message for the phone.
Yes,
today. But we're closed December 24th, which is tomorrow, through January 3rd, opening back up again on January 4th. Hopefully getting some much needed rest. And here's the color combos we made. And while we're gone, we're gonna have an online sale. I'm sorry, someone's leaving a message and that's distracting me, but I can't hear them, so I'm just gonna have to listen to that later. We're gonna have an online sale. The code selfcare25 the entire time we're gone, starting on the 24th and ending on the 3rd, but those days included. You can save 25% off everything in the online shop minus gift cards with the code selfcare25. Now, disclaimer, if you buy one of Liz's Surprise Me Sylvan support boxes, which already save you 50%, and you use that code on it, because you kind of have to use one code on everything. If you're buying it with a bunch of other stuff and you use that code, Liz will build you a kit that is worth twice the value of what you are giving us. So if you buy a $50 box, but you're saving 25%, you will not get $100 worth of yarn in there. You will get twice whatever the actual money we get from you for that kit, right? You will get yarn that's worth twice that. Does that make sense? I hope. Yeah.
I think.
So yeah, things that are already discounted, if they get more discounted, you're not going to get the original value, if that makes sense. But everything else, save 25%, use the code, buy us out of stuff. And most of the inventory online is right. The kits, full disclaimer, if they're an older kit, I'm going to try to work over break to clean that up, because the older kits, we have not been able to go back and update. The older kits, we were doing things where we'd list them and fill them as they came in. New kits like the ones for Echo Point, we're taking out of inventory. So, and we're only putting them up if we know we have the inventory in the store. So please be patient with us, or write me an email and do it early on in break, and I'll get back to you when I can, because I can check inventory from my computer in Illinois. Yes, I know I shouldn't be working, but I'm going to. You might have been thinking about this. We made a combo. It's not one I want to do for my sweater, but we did make a combo with the pink and you guys can't see that.
I remember we were outside and.
Yes, and I took a picture.
Yes.
And I'm still scrolling for that. And Jeff, shout out to Jeff, is coming in less than 10 minutes. So we need to go soon. I am just, here's the kits we made for the Mountain Mist hats. I'm seeing if I can find this without boring y'all. Hey Liz, can you update them on what's happening with Knit Night?
Knit Night. We had our last Knit Night of 2021 on Tuesday night. We will not have Knit Night until Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, from 7 to 9 Eastern time with the Zoom code 828-877-3550. We thought about doing Knit Night during our break, and we didn't last year, and we decided we're not going to do it again this year. It's a lot.
It's a little too much.
It's a little extra.
We need some rest.
Yeah.
We love y'all. We're gonna miss you horribly, but don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this. But we need, as evidenced by this. Oh look, there's Maurice. Did I make the kit before or after Maurice? I can't remember. Or think about that. I think it was before. I think it was before. So I just can't find it, is what that means. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick out. Maybe it was before I took the pictures of the color combos. I don't want to waste y'all's time while we sit here and banter and see. There's the yarn coming in. So I don't know where this picture is. Liz and I are gonna have to try to figure this out so I can take some yarn home with me today. We won't be filming next week either. We won't be doing anything formal. You know us. We might decide to do something impromptu, but we have no plans and we can't guarantee that. So we don't want to get your hopes up and then dash them against the rocks of I'm too tired.
Plan that we're not going to do anything. Well, in the back of your head, knowing we probably
might,
but you know,
there's more Mountain Mist. Where are my outdoor photos of stuff? There's the last time we got Daydream Dye Works in.
It's been a while. So.
There's the Saturday stroll in October picture. I've probably just gone by it too fast, but I don't know if I took a picture of the neutral one that we were thinking about. I've got the picture of Roxanne's hat combo that was different than our hat combo. I don't know what happened. There's a La Pampa. Too many pictures on my phone.
I want to say it was before the La Pampa.
So I don't know where it is because I have the pictures of when the yarn was still in the bags. Oh, and there's the extra stuff we got in for the hat kits. Yeah, I want to say it was earlier on than that. And I swear I took a picture and I can't find it here. My pre-migraine brain might have just scrolled right past it though. So I'm not going to leave you all hanging right now. I will, if I find them, I'll try to splice them into the end of this video before it loads. How about that? Because we have to get ready for Jeff. And you can always look at the Lily Kate Makes Axis and pick out some combos for me. But by 5 o'clock today, Eastern time, I'll be home with something. So, you know.
She will have made a decision.
Yeah.
With or without my help, anyone's help.
Yeah, I have all photos showing, but I had, okay. There's Maurice again. I'm going to scroll back up. We're not going to let Liz see Maurice. That was the giant spider in my shower.
It was like, it took me a second to remember who Maurice was. And then I was like,
I will never forget Maurice.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
And then there's La Pampa again. So yeah. Oh, and then there's the possum meme I took a photo of. I'm gonna go a little further on this, but we are not gonna hold y'all up anymore. We are gonna say have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and every other holiday that anyone might be celebrating out there. Happy, 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 happy. And we will see y'all in the new year, if not by accident before, because we decided to do something impromptu. So
Although it'll throw off Rebecca's number, so
I won't call it a number. It'll be easy. That's my solution for that.
sweet.
So we are at 661 for subscribers. We are inching closer to that 700 subscriber sale. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to us. At least give it a thumbs up if you liked, if you were at all entertained by this video, even while we were being boring scrolling through my phone. And if you would like to monetarily support, be a patron, we really say thank you to all of our patrons. You can go over to patreon.com/sundragon and set up a monthly donation. So we appreciate everybody and everyone, and just for watching, thank you so much. So bye everyone. I have to go start my to-do list, and Jeff is coming. Yay! And
I
yep,
should go
and
put signs out.
we have to go see who that was on the phone, and there's stuff to do.
I'm almost done.
If I can get a picture of that in on the end of this video too, I'll do it. So think about if you want an Echo Point kit, we'll send it out to you when we
Tuesday,
come back.
the 4th.
When we come back, you can still start. Even if you don't have your yarn on the 4th, you can still knit along with us. Bye.
Bye.